afternoon, the Supreme Court is back in session with several landmark cases that could drastically change everything from gun rights to abortion access. Many pro-choice advocates worry the High Court's conservative majority could overturn Roe v. Wade in this session. So this afternoon, we're going in depth on the state of abortion rights in America. Over the weekend, thousands of people gathered in Denver and cities across the country to protest in favor of abortion rights. Leah and David Mendel say the demonstration was so important they brought their 3 daughters to the state capitol to see it.
Well, it's important to bring them because it shows them that we can be proactive about the things that we think are important, that we can try to let people know what we care about and how to try to instill change and let people know what's important.
Colorado's Right to Life has another perspective on abortion rights. In a statement to Denver 7, it says continued access to abortion threatens the lives of women every day in the United States in the name of women's empowerment. The abortion industry continually fights legislation designed to protect women's health and well-being. But historically, many of the challenges to abortion access have had nothing to do with health and safety. So-called trap laws focus instead on mundane building requirements like the width of hallways, heating and air conditioning requirements, and specific dimensional requirements for procedure rooms. States have also created arbitrary deadlines for when women can and cannot get an abortion not grounded in science. The Supreme Court has consistently struck down these kinds of requirements as creating an undue burden to abortion access. That changed drastically last month when the Supreme Court allowed a Texas law banning abortions after 6 weeks to take effect while legal challenges play out in lower courts. That law has a unique enforcement mechanism that hides it from legal scrutiny. Instead of the state enforcing the rules, it has given that right to private citizens to report abortions performed illegally under the law. Digging deeper into the effects of that decision, a growing number of Texas women are now seeking abortions outside of the state. Jesse Cohen has the story.
This room would normally be filled with patients recovering from their abortion procedures.
It's eerily quiet here, and that's been the case now for the month of September.
Planned Parenthood of South Texas said it had no choice but to shut down those operations.
And then when the Supreme Court turned its back on not only the women of Texas, but the legal framework of the United States of America, then things went eerily quiet here when people realized that finding abortion in Texas had essentially become nearly impossible, and the flurry of activity has now moved across state lines where people are desperately trying to find the care very, very far away that they should be able to find right here.
Jeffrey Hans, the president and CEO, says it feels wrong for them to not be offering the services their patients desperately need.
And for those people, finding abortion care that is legal, safe, and offered without judgment and without stigma is essential. It's a human dignity, it's a human right. And so it is very painful right now to be experiencing the emotional and psychic toll that Senate Bill 8 is creating for staff who want to help people but can't.
This reality has put some people in a tough spot. Their options are slim.
There's so much to be worried about right now. I mean, when you talk to abortion providers in neighboring states, whether that be Louisiana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, they're showing an uptick in the number of patients who are reporting Texas zip codes as their home address.
The New Mexico Religious Coalition for Reproduction Choice is seeing that firsthand.
We were not really seeing New Mexico patients. That's a very small amount of what we serve. We do everyone. Anywhere you come from, we will support you. Clearly, Texas is the majority. It always has been. Now it's overwhelming. It is all Texas people.
Brittany DeFeo, the program manager, shows us some context. She says in September of 2019, they performed 20 abortions. In September of 2020, that number dropped to 15. And this year, it's up to about 50 people, 80% of whom are Texans. To look at it another way, in 2020, they provided abortions to 216 people, and they have already surpassed that this year with 3 months to go.
It's not how it used to be. It's like they scatter in. They're just showing up. A lot of them are flying in the morning, getting them at the airport, taking them straight to an appointment, picking them up, getting food. They're flying back.
She says their phones have not stopped ringing. People are terrified to submit an application while still in Texas and are unsure of the boundaries around Senate Bill 8.
So we have the people who are afraid to travel, the people who are afraid to travel in a pandemic, and then the people who are afraid that they're going to go to jail if they come out here to access care.
And on top of all of that, their resources are slim.
So what we're seeing is really low income, marginalized communities, the people that need the help the most. These are people that have nothing, that don't have access to birth control, to health care, to food, to safety.
And that's why this clinic in New Mexico is making sure the people of Texas are reminded they do have options.
Just like confirming that community and trying to break that shame and that stigma that's even heavier now because of these laws.
I'm Jessie Cohen reporting.
For some added context, Colorado's largest contribution to abortion laws came in 2000 in Hill versus Colorado. Justices upheld a Colorado law that banned sidewalk counseling within 100 feet of a healthcare facility, including abortion clinics. Opponents argued their First Amendment right to free speech was being violated, but the court found the law constitutional because it was content neutral and had a reasonable restriction on time, place, and manner. Now we want to hear from you. Where do you think the Supreme Court will land on abortion rights this term? And how do you think it will impact abortion access in America? Send us an email to 360@thedenverchannel.com.